Well, if you're like me, you can't wait for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship to roar back into life, and that's coming sooner rather than later with a 3-hour event at Daytona International Speedway to resume the championship. So with that being said, you're only as good as your last race, so we're going to go straight to the winners, and 3 of the successful Wayne Taylor Racing, Konica Minolta team for DPI Racing, of course the premier class in the championship, are here. Wayne Taylor himself, Scott Dixon and Renger van der Zande. Wayne, you racked up a pretty good career resume as a driver, but I think it just keeps getting better and better as an owner. Can you believe that you've won now 4 and 3 in the last 4 years, talking about the Rolex 24 at Daytona?
Yeah, so it's hard to believe that I was actually a driver in my life because there's so much work goes into running a team and stuff. But I have to say that it's almost hard to believe that we just won 3 out of 4. And, you know, so I don't think I have as many wins as Scott has. I have 3 as an owner and 2 as a driver. So it's 5. So I'm not sure where Scott is at. I think I might be just behind him. But I'm going to take credit for being the team owner anyway. The only problem is that they didn't give me a watch, and I didn't write it to any of the drivers' contracts that they were supposed to give me the watch.
I'm sure your sons will loan you one. Renger, yeah. For you, back-to-back. I mean, how does that sound? Back-to-back Rolex 24 at Daytona victories.
I mean, amazing. I'm very thrilled still about it. In the last 4 months, we could enjoy it all the way. You know, we're still the Rolex winners in 2020 and 2019, and still championship leader until we go to the next race, where we obviously try to continue that way. But it's been a fantastic result. We did not have a great season last year, so we won the first one. That was a big high, and actually we did well in the last race as well, where we finished second in Petit Le Mans. And then we won Daytona again. So we're back on a high. But this time I hope we have a better shot at the rest of the championship, because I think that's last year that was lacking for sure, because of reason everybody knows probably.
And Scott, for you, I think it would be very easy for people to be presumptuous and think, oh, it's just another victory for Dixon. But it means a lot, doesn't it?
It does, you know, and I think for many reasons, you know, the fact that the Daytona 24 is one of the toughest races to ever win. But I think for me, it was the first time kind of out of a comfort zone of being with Ganassi for, you know, maybe 15 years and had always raced competitively and aggressively against Wayne and his team. And you know, I think going into the race too, there wasn't a whole lot of confidence of, you know, we knew we could compete and do well, but to have such a dominant car, I think should, you know, show just how resilient the team was, and to get, you know, that Konica Minolta you know, car in victory lane for me was very special. I think, you know, the team worked very hard, and it just showed. So no, Wayne, you've definitely got you know, me beat there. I've only got 3 overalls and 1 class win. You got 5, so you're cranking on, man. But it was a real pleasure and just so fun to be a part of this team.
Wayne, Scott mentioned the team resilience. How have you managed to be the master puppeteer and get the team through this COVID-19 shutdown and keep everybody healthy and safe, keep everybody employed? You know, we all survive in a business where we have to go racing. So how have you kept the team together and kept morale high and kept everybody going?
Well, I think, as everybody knows, you know, to build a team doesn't happen over 1 or 2 years. It takes a long time to get the right people in that gel. And, you know, just because Ricky and Jordan, obviously my sons, originally drove for me, it was almost like a family team. But, you know, now that they've both gone, the family part of it is still the same. And so everybody that's on the team, you know, I feel for them. I feel for their wives, their kids. And because of the great partnerships I have with Konica Minolta, Cadillac, and various others, I made the decision that it was important to make sure these guys understood that I'm committed to them. And so rather than, you know, just let them go home and not be paid, was never going to work. It's been, you know, stressful financially, but at the same time, I know it's worth the investment to keep those guys together, so that when we come back out of the box here in Daytona, they're going to be as strong as they were when we left Daytona.
And Renger, for you, what have you been up to? You've got a young family, so have you been playing Mr. Mum?
Yeah, a little bit, quite a lot. I've never been so fit in my life because we had so much time to go training. I love my race bike, so finding some competition there to keep myself fit, and also on the gym side of it. But coming to Daytona, I think I'm not the only one driver who is very fit. But no, it's I always have this fear of missing out, where if I see other people racing, I'm like, wow, I want to be racing as well at the same time, even though I'm racing already enough. But this time nobody is racing, so it's kind of a nice dead moment into racing world to kind of think about what it's all about again. And I think the passion, you relive the passion actually when you look at the onboards back, or if you start to do some work together with the engineers, you get really excited to get back to work. And I think that's a really nice build up from such a low stress level of going into the next race, and now starts to go again. So I think I feel more sharp than ever, and I feel the engineers as well, and the whole team is more sharp than ever to do well. So I think it might have been a good period of time for that.
Well, your teammate at Daytona this year, the man on this call, Scott Dixon, he's pretty sharp at the moment because he dominated in IndyCar at Texas Motor Speedway in the Genesis 300. Scott, people have said to me in the wake of that race, I think the field could have started 3 laps ahead of Dixon and he still would have beaten them. I mean, that was an incredible display. That win must have, I mean, you're up there in rarefied air anyway with AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti as far as career wins. But I mean, that one had to be super special for how dominant you were.
Yeah, I think it felt, very good. And I think just to touch on what Renger said, I think this downtime has kind of put a lot of things in perspective. It's been great to kind of reconnect with family and friends and have that, moment. But it also made you realize how much I missed racing. And first of all, it's just so good to get back in a car. We'd done a lot of these simulation races and with iRacing and things like that, which definitely brought a great continuous of the sport and some, open eyes, I think, of what's achievable. But, to get back to Texas, I think kudos to obviously NASCAR, I think, for kind of paving the way and setting the example and what we needed to do, which definitely helped the NTT IndyCar series, a lot, getting there and knowing what to do exactly. And as you said, it was just a dominant race for the PNC car. It was just so strong. Even when we had some hiccups there, we were able to feed way back through the field. And honestly, we kind of could just take our time and make a move when we needed to. So the only frustrating part was, Felix getting caught up on that traffic there towards the end. And, it was a big race for NTT as well, being just there in Plano. But he's going to be strong, and hopefully we can get all 3 of these, Ganassi cars up front coming July 4th weekend, which is going to be a huge weekend as well. The first time NASCAR and IndyCar on the same weekend at the same track is going to be pretty special. And
of course, that 4th of July weekend is when the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship cranks up again at Daytona. Wayne, for you, one of the other things that this COVID-19 shutdown and stay home, stay safe period has enabled us to do calls and chats like this, and not be kind of hemmed in like we are to a strict schedule on television. So we can talk to you freely now, mate, and you are one of the most charismatic people on pit lane when things go wrong. So the Rolex 24 at Daytona this year went extremely well for Scott and Renger and for Ryan Briscoe and Kamui Kobayashi, until right near the end when Ryan Briscoe blew that red light. It was kind of the wrong time, wrong place, got a drive-through penalty. Again, you gave us a wonderful facial expression. What do you say over the years? We've seen you do it so many times. What are you saying to yourself? Can you share that?
I don't know. It's my personality. I don't know how to do it in any other way. And I think that when you've been in the sport your entire life, you eat, think, and breathe racing. And the one thing I learned coming to America to race in America was that if you don't win, you're the first loser. And I'll give you an example. So every single race we do, I have my cell phone in my back pocket. If we win, it vibrates for about 3 days. If we come second, I hear, and that's it. So I have to I have to push everybody so that I can get this vibration going. And I just, it's the weirdest thing, because I have really forgotten that I was a driver. And because I'm so impressed with people like Scott and Renger and everybody else, I'm still very much a racing fan. I still love watching these drivers do what they do. But the emotional side of it, yeah, I can't help it. It is what it is. You know, I'm just a nutcase, I guess.
Well, it spices up the broadcast for sure. Renger, finally for you, what can we look forward to this year in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship? What can we expect from you and your new teammate, Ryan Briscoe? It's a fresh combination in the number 10 car. So what can we expect in the rest of 2020?
I feel very confident about the team. You know, like Wayne said, we work with people that work together already for 15 years. And I'm on a streak as well now, being with Wayne for the third year in a row now. So it's that combination, and I think Ryan knows the team very well. It's the combination of experience together. You know each other, and make the most out of that can make it. Look at Scott in IndyCar. He's been with Ganassi forever, and he's still winning races for so many years in a row. But I think that's the strong part that we have, and I think we can expect us to win a lot of races. I'm definitely going for that goal.
And Scott, for you, I always give Wayne the last word, so you're going to get the last word today. Wayne has this uncanny knack, which is by no means luck. It's through strategy, good planning, good preparation. Wayne has this uncanny knack of putting together superstar lineups in that number 10 DPI over the years. Unbelievable lineup. You got a chance to be a part of that this year. How good a lineup is Wayne Taylor Racing? What impressed you the most?
It's a great lineup, but I think, you know, you can kind of take little bits of you know, the family atmosphere, but I think it's more of, you know, it's similar in a lot of ways to Ganassi, and it's the leader. The leader is the most competitive person. You know, Chip is the most competitive person I know, and the same is with Wayne, and that filters down everywhere. And you can see it in Wayne's emotion, and that's what really carries a team. And you know, I feel very privileged, very lucky to be a part of this team this year, to be a part of, you know, a great driver lineup and everybody that was involved. So I can't thank Wayne and Max and everybody that you know, helped pull this off so much. So I'm grateful. I can't wait to get back, you know, to our next IndyCar race, but also I can't wait to, you know, get to Petite and then obviously Sebring later in the year and be part of this team again. See
that, Wayne? It ended on a nice note. Big compliment.
Yeah, Leigh. So I'm still going to finish.
Oh, surprise!
To make sure that you know that we've managed to sign Scott for the last 2 races. And I've got to thank Chip Ganassi and Mike Hull and PNC and all the sponsors that have allowed him to do this. But it's going to be really cool that he's going to come back with us for those 2 long-distance races at the end of the year.
That is awesome news, and thanks for sharing that with us. And we all look forward to July 4th, whether we're going to be in Indianapolis or Daytona International Speedway. It's a good weekend. Thanks, fellas, and have a great remainder of 2020.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, Motorsports fans, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe before you go for all the latest news and highlights across motorsports.